I am a victim advocate with the Sexual Assault and Family Trauma Response Center and the Spokane Crime Victims Service Center. And my role in the Wraparound process is that I provide victim advocacy, victim support for the victim, and I provide information, notification, and resources. I also am a conduit for many of the other team players involved, such as Department of Corrections, Victim Witness, Prosecutor's Office, law enforcement. And I am there to make sure that his or her voice is heard, that if they have any safety concerns about the offender, that is known. I work together in this team process so that the victim can have their voice heard, and we can provide as much safety planning as possible. The more information, the more prepared they are, the more empowered they are.
My job title is Community Corrections Officer, which in most states is probation and parole. I work in Spokane for the Washington Department of Corrections, and I manage a caseload of sex offenders. My role is when an offender is getting ready to release the community, we meet with the victims, if possible, and the victim liaison, and our role is to protect the community, protect the victims, and assure them of safety, plus to get to know more about the offender that I'm going to be supervising in the community.
I'm a victim advocate with the Spokane County Prosecutor's Office and their gang unit. And my role in the wraparound process is to make sure that a victim is informed and understand that they have a role and a vital role in their own safety planning for their future, connecting with community corrections officers and the Department of Correction victim liaison, and setting up a meeting where we can meet with a victim and plan with that victim and find out what their needs are and what we may be able to do to help them when that offender re-enters the community.
I formerly worked as a classification counselor in the prisons division. So as part of our re-entry program, trying to find addresses for our offenders to release, we have victim wraparounds. My role in that victim wraparound, where a lot of different people are gathered to provide safety plans and re-entry programs, is to provide information about the offender's attitude, adjustment, programming, and other things, behaviors, infractions, those kinds of things from the prison side of things. We're there to listen to the victim and their concerns and how they relate to the offender's re-entry into the community. So that piece is really important because we want to let that victim know that we really do have a lot of concern about what they're experiencing, and we want to support them and know that they have somebody that they can trust and feel safe with during this process.
I'm the Community Victim Liaison for the Washington State Department of Corrections Victim Services Program. Communication with victims is my job, and I feel like that is at the heart of my job. And you know, oftentimes when we make that contact with victims, they're either calling us or they've been referred to us and I'm calling them. They're in crisis. Victims need to know that there are people in the system that will help them and will communicate with other people in the system. How you approach a victim and how you, with the sensitivity that you approach them, will determine the amount of information that they're going to share with you. And this information is extremely helpful for people in corrections for supervising these offenders, because there's lots of stuff that comes out that victims can tell us that no one else knows. So not only are we helping the victims with their safety plan, bringing the resources to the table for that, but we're also helping the community corrections officers to supervise those offenders in the areas that's going to target their risks and their needs.